What's going on, guys? This is Phil and Luke. We're just kind of testing the waters here. We're doing our first podcast. This channel isn't really just going to be solely podcasts. We're going to be doing videos, kind of based on topics we both care about, and those will be just kind of individual videos. We're going to also post, but a lot of the time we're going to be doing conversations with Luke and I, as well as having guests on. People call in, friends, people who are knowledgeable about topics we want to talk about. People who have experienced stuff that we want to, have more knowledge about. And also we're going to do, some type of episodes where we have games. We do, people calling in. We're going to have challenges, drinking games, stuff like that. And those will be, to be determined if we actually do them and when we do them. So anyways, most of our episodes, we're going to be doing like a question of the day that we start the podcast just to kind of start our conversation. So I'm asking the first question on the first episode. Luke, why don't you say hello?
Yeah, I'm Luke. Usually we'll do these questions and the other person won't know the question, but since we're just kind of starting today, I do have 30 seconds of preparation since we just figured it out 2 seconds ago, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so one of the topics we're going to kind of cover is just like our experience with girls and kind of how to manage the modern dating world.
Yeah,
Luke?
Disclaimer, do not follow all of our advice and expect that it's just going to be this path to having great relationships. We've been through it. We're going to kind of talk about how we've been through it a little bit today based off our question, and basically we're just giving you our experiences. We're not giving you necessarily advice, but if you can take it however you want.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure we'll give tips and comments on how to avoid the terrible things we've done in our lives.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right, Luke. Question of the day: what is the most down bad you've been in regards to a girl?
Ooh. Okay, well, I don't know. It is in regards to a girl, but it's not necessarily specifically to the girl. So, there are 2 separate scenarios where this instance in my life caused me to be down bad. First was in 7th grade. I had a crush on 2 separate girls.
That's never a good start.
No. Junior high was a rough time. I had a crush on 2 separate girls. And if anybody listening knows me, I am one of the whitest people that you know. I am not made to write what you would call rap music. But in 7th grade, man, I thought I was hard. In 7th grade, I thought I was hard. And so I wrote this rap song.
Oh, no.
I'm dead serious. And it was called 2 Girls. And I don't remember every line. My sister actually, still to this day, keeps that rap as blackmail for me. So, like, I can never go out on my sister. Like, she's got something on me that I can never recover from.
If this thing blows up, you're fucked.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to give the whole rap. I'll make you read it. If we blow up big enough, I'll make you read my whole rap song and get it from my sister.
All right. How many subs?
Oh,
1,000?
Yeah, it's got to be like 1,000. It's got to be enough to where like this is gonna take off, and I'm not just gonna ruin my life for nothing.
All right, fair enough.
So the initial down bad was actually writing this rap song.
Yeah, I would have said that's
telling the love of 2 girls. I know that's the first line. And I know it repeated like 4 times before I said any other word. But the also other down bad part was like my sister didn't find it till like my sophomore year of high school. So like she thought that I had written this my sophomore year of high school.
Oh no.
And I was like, dude, I mean like I'm still really awkward, still got long shaggy hair, not smooth at all. Yeah. I haven't hit my smooth stage yet.
Okay.
But I didn't do this in sophomore year. I did this in 7th grade. I had to explain that to her.
Oh, sure, I'll believe you.
Yeah, no. They both know who they are. Like, they both knew that I had the biggest crush on both of them. So, if they ever get to hear this, they'll be like, yeah, I remember you being weird and awkward and trying to hit on both of us at the same time every single day. So, I have proof. 7th grade was that stage of my life.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you have a question for me, or do you want to go off?
I just want you to do that. What's the most down bad you've ever been? And I guarantee you can't top my answer.
I don't know, man. I think it depends on how good your rap is. Like, if your rap is just that embarrassing, I think that would determine. Like, if it was kind of smooth, I'd be like, you gave it a shot.
Me wrote it in 7th grade. How smooth do you think that thing is?
Trash.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I don't know, man. I've had quite a few moments where I was pretty down bad. Let's be honest here. You could go back to like middle school where I just was cringe, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily down bad for me because it was always just cringe. I didn't really know how to
girls took a backseat till I was older in high school. But the probably the most embarrassing and most like down bad where I was like, wow, I probably will never have the confidence to talk to a girl again. I went on this date. It was during the summer, and it was kind of just a summer fling or whatever. And I originally went to this girl's house randomly, and I didn't really think it was going to be like a legit date. We were just kind of hanging out, and it was at a time when I was swimming, and I had a morning practice and an evening practice, right? So it was just in between, we were just kind of hanging out. She swam too, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's hang out. I'll pick you up at your place. So then I pull up on the curb, right? And I was already thrown off guard because she comes out, like I'm waiting outside, I'm being a gentleman. She comes out and she's like, all right, you want to come inside real fast? And I'm like, sure, we don't have much time because we were going to see a movie. And so we go up to her house. It's this big mansion. I walk inside and there's 3 adults. There's her mom, who I didn't know, her dad, which I could tell it was her dad, and some older woman, which I assumed was her grandma, and I was right. And her dad like comes up to me and like shakes my hand, and I'm starting to think to myself, I'm like, oh man, I'm not ready for this. I am not ready for this at all. So I take a seat on her couch, and she's kind of sitting across the room, and I'm just like, her dad's just making dead eye contact, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I was being respectful. And so he's just like, so, what do you want to do? What's your goal? I talked to him about like where I'm going to college and stuff. And he's like just intimidating the shit out of me, right?
Yeah, when you didn't expect this to be a date at all.
Dude, it was not fun. But I got through it. He ended up, giving his blessing, but I was just like, I didn't think I needed a blessing. I'm about to leave to college in like 2 months. I didn't think this was going to be serious. But we end up going to the date. And we go to the movie theater, we, get our soda or whatever, we go inside. And I was still so nervous because like I was really into this girl, but like, high school into the girls where I'm just like I'm thinking one goal in mind, right? I really just wanted to make out with her in the movie theater. Let's be honest here.
I was gonna say, please tell us your goal because I don't think it's what some people might think it was.
That's right. Yeah, I mean I was definitely I just wanted to make out with her, right? So in the movie theater, I just kept throwing in piece of gum after piece of gum because I was so nervous, right? And this girl was she was a dime. Like I didn't deserve to land her on a date type of thing. I was a little junior, just a scrib, literally a scrib in high school. And so I'm like okay. I'm making it through this movie. I think we started holding hands, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm making a move. And I just kept throwing in piece of gum after piece of gum, not noticing. It was like a nervous habit because I bought a thing of gum, like a pack of gum beforehand, right?
Smart.
I finished the whole pack before I realized like I'm out of gum and I'm chewing on this glob of gum. So now we're halfway through this long movie. I remember it just like I don't remember what the movie was because I couldn't focus. And I started I was like, I got to do something with this. So I swallow the wad of gum. I mean, this was like a golf ball of gum. And so I'm like, all right, I like we dealt with that, even though she's probably going to notice because she definitely, knew I was chewing gum. She was doing the same thing. She was probably thinking the same thing, right? I end up not making a move, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to go and hang out at the river after this, right before practice. We're just going to go chill out. There was this river in town that everyone would go and like there's like a big parking lot. You could go and chill and like just sit by the river bank. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go there anyways. That was our plan. I'm like that's where I'll make a move, right? And I won't have this glob of gum in my stomach. So the movie finishes. We get in my truck. We drive to the river. We're chilling, and I'm like, I start feeling queasy, and I'm like, is this the nerves or this has got to be that glob of gum that's in my stomach trying to be digested? So I finally, I'm like, she starts making a move. I wouldn't even make a move because I was just that nervous and I didn't feel good. So then I tell her to stop. And I'm like, I look at her and I said, I don't feel good. And I get out of the car and run behind a tree and yak my brains out. Come back. She thinks that I just went to the bathroom. She just thinks like, oh, you just had to, take a piss or something. No, I threw up. I got back in the truck and she immediately smelled like vomit. And she's like, did you just throw up? I said, yeah. Just like, is it me? I said, yeah. I told her yes. I literally said that to her face, and she was like, "Why? What did I do?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm just nervous. I'm gonna take you home." So I literally, she's
You
just
didn't
like,
even tell her about the gum?
"No, dude, literally did not." So we pack up our we had like a cooler or something, packed it up, jumped in the car. I brought her back to her house to where she was, she expected me to drive her to practice, drop her off, whatever. No, I drove her to her house and just left her. Never saw her again, other than like, oh, I'd see her on the pool deck or something like that. She had practice at the same time sometimes. But I couldn't even text her. I couldn't do anything because I'm like, wow. I just told this girl like, yeah, you're the reason you made me throw up, even though like completely was me being an absolute idiot eating an entire pack of gum. Eating, not even just chewing on it, eating an entire pack of gum.
You
Yeah,
do
I-
realize that if this girl ever starts a podcast and they asked her the same question, what's your most down bad moment? She probably says this same story because she still thinks that you kissed her and it was so bad that you had to throw up.
Swear, dude. No, we didn't kiss. That's the thing.
Oh,
We didn't.
you didn't even
kiss.
get to that point.
No, dude. We were like, she was like trying to make a move and like leaning in, and I was like, I can't do it. I literally can't do it. And I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but
The
I'm
thought
pretty
of kissing you makes me want to throw
I
up.
swear that's I know that's what was going through her head, bro. I swear she had to have just been like, oh, what did I do? Because I dipped. I was like, I gotta go. And I took off, came back, and she's like, did you throw up? I said, yeah, man, yeah, it was bad. And she's like, was it because of me? All I said was, yeah, I just. She's like, well, why? I said, I just.
Can you please promise to send a direct link of this podcast to that girl and make her listen to that story?
Never. I don't think I could. Like, I've seen her since then. I've seen her like during college when I'd come back for the summer, just because again when I was swimming she would be around.
Yeah.
And I had seen her. Everything was normal. I know damn well in the back of her mind she's just like, this dude. Why? How does he have the dignity to come around and see me? Like, he literally threw up because I tried to make a move on him.
My only goal out of this podcast is to get famous enough that she somehow listens to this episode randomly. Actually, I'm gonna try to get
if we end up getting that famous, I'm gonna delete this episode because I know you're gonna pull that. But at this point, I'm over it. I just feel bad. So, if you end up listening to this, you know who you are. I apologize. It was not you. It was definitely 100% me. I own it.
I feel like she deserves to know, man. She deserves to know after all this time that she wasn't gross. You just swallowed a whole pack of gum. She's probably still sad about that to this day.
I don't think she would be sad. She's probably just like embarrassed. Like imagine that. Imagine you're on the other end, right? Okay, tell me how you would feel. So I think an equal would be you go on a date with a girl. You try to make the move because apparently she was more of a man than I was at that time. So you try to make the move, and she just like pushes you away. I mean, it would be the same thing. She pushes you away, goes and throws up, and comes back, and she's like, no, you're disgusting. Like that has to have been like what she was going through. I can only imagine.
Yeah, and after all this time, she still thinks it was her fault. Like, man, she's down bad. You don't even get to count that as you being down bad.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm down bad because I just told anyone that wants to listen to this video that I swallowed a whole pack of gum because I was too much of a wuss to kiss a girl. So, there's that. But yeah, that was.
And she made the move, man. You really screwed that.
I blew it. So again, if you're out there.
All right, would that go down as your worst date?
Worst date? I don't think so. I think that was pretty.
We're about to unload some gems to hear.
Yeah, I don't think that was the worst date because overall the date went well. It was like the end where we were like, okay,
that's really bad though.
I get it. You're telling me you haven't been on any bad dates?
I have, but you can't rate that date anything over like a 3.
I rated 1, but
you still think that's your worst? All right, what's your worst date?
Worst date. I mean, I don't know. I think
worst date that's like funny, not painful.
I think, yeah, but I think the older you get, like worse changes. Like back then, that would have been worse.
My worst day has been the same since I was 16 years old.
Okay, what is it?
Oh boy, this is a story. Okay. All right, so it all starts when I was 16 years old, I was a wimp. I didn't want to drive. This was a big thing. Like I rode with my best friend everywhere. We went everywhere together. And so we always just cruised in his Bronco. I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't need a license. I literally just ride with him everywhere. He takes me to practice. He takes me home from school. It had to be really awful for him. He had to be so annoyed. But
Okay.
he never said anything. Like he always acted like it was no big deal. All this stuff. So I didn't drive. Well, I started talking to this girl from down by like St. Joe, which
Mhm.
is like 30 minutes from where I'm from.
Okay.
And she's like, hey, we should go on a double date sometime. I can bring a friend. Because we didn't really know each other. We had met one time at like a basketball game. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you know, I don't really know you. You don't know me.
Mhm.
And I can't drive. So I got to get a ride down there anyways. And I don't
Okay.
want my mom to bring me. So anything's better than that.
Yeah.
And so I picked one of my buddies and I'm like, hey, we're going to go down there and we're going to go on this double date. And
Okay.
he's like, all right, you know, that's chill. And she sent the picture of him and they're like, oh yeah, everything's smooth. Everything's smooth. Let's go down there. And so before we get there, we go and we pick up 4 tickets to this movie.
Mhm.
It was This Means War. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Actually, a solid movie. Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
where the two guys are fighting over the one girl. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Okay.
And so we pick up 4 tickets, and we're gonna go to this restaurant. It's called Cheddar's. It's kind of nice, kind of cheap, kind of in between to where we were in high school. We didn't have a bunch of money to go somewhere super nice, but we didn't want to like go to like Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
which turns out to be ironic in this story.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're there. We're there like an hour and a half before this movie starts, and we're like, okay, like we got here, we're good to go. She's like, hey, we're gonna be a couple minutes late. No big deal. We'll just chill here until you get here. So we're sitting in the car, sitting in the car, sitting in the car.
Okay. Sounds very similar.
And no, not all of us. Me and the guy just waiting
Oh,
for them
okay.
to show up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it gets to about like 40 minutes before the movie, 30 minutes before the movie starts, and they're not there yet. And so we're like, hey, are you guys still coming? And she's like, yeah. Something just came up. You know, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there in a minute. Like, just hold on. And then she texts me another message and she says, actually, I have to tell you something. We are still coming, but I brought another friend with me.
Oh.
And I was like,
Oh no.
what?
Where's this going, bro?
And so she brought another girl. So there was 3 girls and the 2 of us to
Okay,
go,
this could turn out sick.
or it could turn out awfully.
Okay.
And so we get to Chick-fil-A, and my friend and one of the 2 girls really hit it off. You know, they're talking back and forth. Me and the date that I'm, you know, the girl I was trying to date, talking back and forth.
Mhm.
But there's 5 of us, and this other girl is like, you know, and she's really quiet. Like she doesn't seem like off put by the situation or anything.
Yeah.
And but she's definitely like fifth wheeling this thing right now.
Yeah.
And so like I'm just like, at the same time as I'm having a good time, I'm really like, this girl's pretty cute. I'm like, okay, this is going well. In the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, that poor girl over there fifth wheeling that just showed up out of nowhere. And so, you know, Chick-fil-A goes fine, and we head to the movie theater, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, we have 4 tickets. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go buy another ticket. Everything will be fine. It won't be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
We get there, and the movie's sold out.
Big rip.
And so I'm just like, what am I going to do here? And so I'm like, you guys go in, I'll figure something out. And so I sat there for 5 minutes, and I tried to sweet talk one of them ladies up front into giving me an extra ticket. And she's like, we can't, it's sold out. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
I was like, give me a ticket to, and I just picked a random movie. She's like, okay. And she's like, are you still going to go to the other movie? And I was like, no, it's sold out. I'm just going to, you know, go by myself. It's fun. And wait, I was like, pick one that's like the same length, so I'm not by myself.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, that makes sense. And so I take the movie ticket, obviously grab some popcorn, doused it in butter because that is the only way you go to a movie theater.
Of course.
And then I immediately handed my ticket to the guy and then sprinted to the bathroom like something was wrong. Like I was going to throw up or something like that. And so, you know, the guy kind of looks at me, looks away, goes back to doing the tickets.
Okay.
And so I'm like peeping out of the bathroom waiting for this guy. And finally he goes into the other room right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
Because the movie that we were trying to get into was literally right behind the ticket guy.
Okay.
And so as he walks into the other room, I dart into This Means War. And
Oh, God.
so I sneak into the movie. End up, the movie goes fine. Movie goes great. And
Where were you with? Were you able to sit next to him, or
yeah.
there was an open seat?
Yep, everything went smooth after that. And
Really?
the theater actually had like probably 20, 30 seats open. So I was a little salty that
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
but
Oh.
so anyways, we go there, watch the movie. I think we got ice cream afterwards. I don't remember for sure. But I mean, it wasn't no one like did anything horrible or anything like that, but it was just really like the fact that they were late kind of like threw it,
Yeah.
and then having the extra person and having to buy the ticket and sneak into the other movie. That was literally probably my first experience of going on an actual date.
Oh
So
my God. See, that's kind of how mine was with that girl. Is like that was like really getting into the dating world and like figuring it out. And I was just like, this can't like this
that just
can't
sums
be
up
the.
why our dating life is the way it is.
I
man.
swear. I mean, from day one, it hasn't been great. Well, what would you what would you have done now? All right, what would you have done now to make sure that it didn't happen? Like,
well, I would just have my own car so I could go on a
oh,
single.
all right, that's fair.
I could go on a single date and not rely on somebody.
Yours is a pretty
else.
simple fix. I guess mine is too. I'd probably say just don't eat an entire pack of gum and swallow it. I think that might be a good tip. But
Oh, by the way, neither one of us ever went on another date with either of the girls, so we both totally blew it.
it's true. That is true.
Not shockingly.
I, in your case, I think you did probably have another chance. My case, no.
You had another chance. All you had to do was be honest with. Here's the lesson you learned from today's episode.
Okay.
If Phil would have been honest with that girl and been like, "I threw up because I ate a whole pack of gum," that would have been a hilarious story, and they could have went on a second date.
But
But you were too
hindsight
embarrassed.
is 2020 because imagine, okay, we're older now where we would laugh at it, because
Oh no, as a 17-year-old boy, I understand exactly what
exactly
you
what
did.
exactly. I mean, I can't even imagine like how much I was probably sweating and like how much I was probably just like so uncomfortable. And it was a combination of the nerves on top of eating an entire pack of gum.
Yeah.
It was just like my stomach was like, dude, what is going on here? These are all new experiences. We don't know what's happening.
We've never swallowed gum. We've never kissed a girl. We don't know what to
We-
do.
I literally don't know what's happening. Oh my God. Yeah, that wasn't fun. But
All right, so now if you did the same thing today, you would straight up walk back in there and tell her for sure. Like,
if I was so nervous I ate an entire pack of gum,
well, just pretend that you hadn't done that before.
if I was just sick,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
let's just
I
say you
mean-
were just sick. You're like, I threw up because I'm sick.
I think that it would. Yeah.
But it have to be something that's embarrassing for you, though.
Yeah, so I think it would be a completely different situation because if I actually got sick, I would be able to be like, hey, I don't feel good. I probably should go home. But hey, let's hang out next week when I feel better, assumably, But
And then she thinks you're lying to her.
so something
You never get a second
embarrassing. I
chance.
don't even know what I don't know what. I don't need to get into what embarrasses me.
The
But
only thing I could think of is you got so drunk that you threw up, but in that case, you wouldn't even care. You wouldn't be embarrassed because you'd be like,
yeah, I mean, I would
You're
just
drunk.
wait. I'd wake up and be like, hey, Luke, what happened last night? And you'd tell me, and then I'd be like, pretty all right, good, pretty standard weekend.
yeah, that's about half of our story.
Yeah, I swear. So something that it's something that would embarrass me to where I had to straight up lie and tell a girl that
I don't think we have that anymore.
I don't think so.
I've
Either.
had too many experiences. Like you couldn't embarrass me that awfully.
Exactly. Dude, I don't know. I think I'm in the same boat. I think that I would be. I mean, I think there's some things that I wouldn't be able to like talk about. Be like certain things where I'd have to just be like, hey, I gotta drop you off, and I can't give you an explanation. Like something maybe a girl would do. That's a good question. What would a girl do on a date that would make you cut it off as fast as I cut it off? I almost dropped her name. Oh my God.
Well, getting out of the car when I tried to kiss them and throwing up, that would be one. That would probably be like, yeah, immediately I'm not going to talk.
No,
to
I'm
you.
all right. So more like on the red flag side. What would you be like? Okay, this is.
Oh
this
gosh,
is over. This is over.
I'm a bad red flags guy. It doesn't take a lot. I'm
all right. So what's an average red flag where you'd be like, all right, time to. I'm talking. You straight up end the date on the spot.
Oh, end the date
Like,
on the
you're-
spot.
you're
Okay,
just
that would
straight
have
up-
to be a lot worse.
You're straight up like, hey, I gotta take you home. Like this, I'm not doing this.
I don't know if there's anything just because I'm not a very sensitive person that would be like, hey, I'm going to take you home right now. because like I feel like I could survive the rest of the date and just be like, okay, but I'm never gonna talk to this girl ever again.
So there's
after this
nothing.
I mean, I'm sure there is
There's
something.
nothing that would piss you off enough to where you'd be like, I don't care. I'm gonna straight up leave this girl at the side of the road. Like, I'm serious. There's got to be something.
I mean, maybe she hit me. I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't. You know me though. I don't get very mad. I'm not.
That's
I'm
true.
not a really mad person.
So really, there's. I would say, what if she took a phone call from her ex? Something like just absurd, where she's like, I got to go get this. She comes back. She's like, oh yeah, it was my ex. Yeah, I'm gonna hang out with him afterwards. Like
she said, okay. If she says I'm gonna hang out with him afterwards, then I'd be like, okay, I'll just take you home now. But like just fielding the call, because I can speak from experience here. If any of my exes called me right now, I would be concerned for their lives. I would be like, are they dying? Because why are you calling me?
Because you're the last person they would reach out to.
It's like, no, something is terribly wrong here.
That's fair.
It would also depend on like timing too. Like if we're on a dinner date and their ex called, I'd be like, yeah, like okay, like something's wrong. That would be my. Now if it's like we're hanging out, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and their ex is calling and they field it, I'm like, okay, all right, now I'm taking you home.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. Yeah, I'd be in the same boat. I think that for me though, there'd be a lot more situations where I would straight up just be like, okay, we're done here. Can I get my check? We're gonna head home, and split the check.
Have you had that happen?
I've had dates where we've had plans to do more, like on a day, where I've been like, I have made some type of excuse or something.
Okay, I've done that.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
I've never up and been like, a girl has said something where I've just said, okay, that's it. That's where I draw the line. I've never had that. I think that there are things that could be said where I'd be like, okay, that's about it for me. But I don't. I hope I never have to go through that because of how awkward that would be. But yeah, I think there are definitely possibilities where I would be like, okay, I'm gonna get up here and we're gonna drive you home.
If she was like, hey, I'm a Steelers fan, would that be like enough? Or you're just like,
that'd be, I don't know, man. That'd be pretty close. No, I think sports wise, if sports fans, I think the worst would probably be like a Dodgers fan for me.
I would say like a Cowboys fan because it says more about your personality than like I don't hate the Cowboys that much, but if you're from Texas, you're excluded from this conversation. Completely different.
That's fair.
But if you're from Missouri and you're like, yeah, I cheer from the Cowboys, like I just assume you have this personality that I hate. Like you're just stuck up.
Well, you know our mutual friend Vlad. I mean, he likes the Cowboys.
Where's he from?
Texas. That's fair.
He's from Texas.
Okay.
He's excluded. That's why I said that.
Okay.
But no, people from Texas, like that's your hometown team. Like people from Boston that like New England, I don't hold that against you either. People from this area, one of our friends, know who you are.
What about me who likes the Ravens? But that's not really a toxic team.
Yeah, they're not toxic.
That's fair.
It's not the Patriots. It's not. I would say if you were not from Kansas City and you just started cheering for the Chiefs very recently, I would consider you toxic.
That's fair. I would agree.
Because you're just cheering for a team that has talent and is winning. I've cheered for the Chiefs since like 2012, and believe me, we were not winning in that period.
That's fair. So what is the team out of all the teams that if a girl said she was into and she was from your area, what is the team where you'd go? Oh, God, like that's not. I mean, obviously you would never just like leave a girl because of the team she likes, but you know what I mean. Like, what's a team where you're like, geez.
I would narrow it down to the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees. Those are both just like the quote unquote America's team, to where like, oh, like.
But like, I feel like you're just a follower at that point. I don't want to date a follower.
Yeah, we don't like sheep. That's for sure.
I feel like you picked a team just because you dated some guy that said I like the Yankees, and you're like, I like the Yankees now too. That would be my first thought process of any girl. Now, if she like can come up and be like, hey, yeah, like my dad liked the Yankees because he lived in New York, or like she has some legitimate reason, completely nullifies the whole thing.
Okay.
But if she's just like, I've just always liked the Yankees, they were just good. Okay. No, dude, I'm not a blue ribbon guy. You're not getting that from me. You got to earn it.
That's fair. That's fair. Is there? Would you ever date a girl who doesn't like sports at all, and not just doesn't like them, like isn't interested, but like I don't like the idea of sports.
No,
like, I don't like the idea.
0% chance. I'm going to spend 8 hours a day watching football on Sunday, every Sunday that has NFL football for the rest of my life. And if you think that a girl that does not like sports, that's not going to tick her off every time, you're wrong. I'm gonna spend
Yeah. So that's it.
I'm gonna spend 3 hours on Saturday watching Nebraska. I don't have to watch college football all day, but
Okay.
I'm watching NFL football from 12 until 9, and that
Alright.
time is blocked off. Unless boys got a tea time, I might hop in. But
That's
other
fair.
than that, I mean, obviously, like real family situations completely different. But if it's
Yeah.
just like lazy Sunday, I'm watching football from 12 to 9.
I feel the same way. I'm more of the side of like I wouldn't care that she doesn't like sports, but if she was like so again opposed to the idea
I
of
agree with that.
sports, that's where I would be like, okay, this I don't like this because like they obviously whoever it would be wouldn't understand the good virtues and the values
Yeah.
that being on a team or being engaged in athletics in any sense brings you in life,
Yeah.
or being even a fan of a team and like having to build that community.
I feel like a girl that's against sports too is not going to want their kids to play sports, which would be a huge no go for me. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to force my kids to play sports. I mean, I kind of probably will, but if it gets to the point where they're like, I don't want to do it, fine. If you don't enjoy sports, sports are a negative. If you enjoy sports, sports are a positive.
Yeah, for
But
sure. And I definitely want my kids engaged in a lot of sports
Yeah.
too, to where I'm like, they're going to be off the electronics and on the field more than they're going to, vice versa.
But if you're just talking about that girl that's like barely knows what a touchdown is because she doesn't watch sports, but she's like, you do whatever you want. Our kids can play sports. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Dude, I still feel like long term that would be something that'd be like, I would really wish that she would just like get into sports.
Yeah.
And I've dated
Well, that's-
multiple girls that really weren't into sports, and by the time we were done dating, were very into sports, or at least acted enough like they were.
I feel like that'd be
that I
hard
feel like they were.
to date you and not be into sports, or
That
not
is a
at least
large
learn-
portion of my life.
not at least learn to be into sports. That's I'm the same way with certain things in my life too, and
Yeah, I can imagine a girl dating you that like was opposed to guns. Like that would be
yeah, opposed to guns rather than not care. I wouldn't care if a girl's like doesn't care, because I think a lot
But
of
I feel
girls
like eventually you're gonna spend time doing that together. Like that's something you really
yeah.
enjoy.
So like if they're open to being like, sure, I'll go
Yeah.
with you. I'll learn about it. I'll let you talk to me about it for sure. But not if they're like, oh no, like you're not gonna have guns in the house. I'm gonna be like, okay, you're not in my house. Sorry.
Get out.
Yeah. Anyways, well, I think that's a good.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap on our first episode. We'll see if we actually end up posting it, but that was a good conversation. I think it started heating up there at the end.
Yeah, no.
So,
That is
anyways,
manifest destiny for you.
that is Manifest Destiny, episode 1, season 1, volume 1. Like just
That's the
number
pilot.
1. That is actually the pilot. That is the pilot. Well, anyways, if you made it to the end here, thanks for listening. I want to say that please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to try to avoid that. But for the first one, I think we have
That's
to
fair.
say-
You can say it at least once.
Yeah, we can say that at least once. But anyways, if you guys made it to the end here, thanks for listening, and
You're a
we will see. Yeah, we apologize. We'll see you next time.